So a lot of people, when they think of Nickelback, their main vision of the band is this huge monster of a band, but obviously you started out the same as any other band, just from scratch, and you had your first couple of albums before everything really took off. I think a lot of people just seem to think that you released Silver Side Up and it all exploded and that was it. So take us back to those first 2 albums, sort of, you know, what were those early days of Nickelback like?
That was driving a van across Canada in the middle of dead of winter, which you had some this year, some snow, you know.
Oh, God.
We get lots of that in Canada, and, you know, doing everything ourselves and having no help and no staff and no crew and no management, no radio, no anything, and it was really hard for the first little while. But we were doing, like I said, we sure weren't doing it for the money then, because there wasn't a cent to be had at the time. There was no money in it, and it was a good thing to do when you're young. Mm-hmm. You know, being poor and homeless is there's kind of an allure to it when you're young, but when you get a little older, it becomes a little less appealing. And I'm kind of glad we did it in our youth. Yeah.
If there was one thing that you could recapture from those days and bring to now, what would it be, do you think? I mean, do you ever wish you could play in those small, intimate venues again?
Well, that's the beauty of it, is we can go back and play in those small venues again, and it would probably be more exciting now because the few people that could get into those would probably feel pretty good about getting in, and it would be a lot of fun. I don't know what I'd go back to be honest. I guess it was just a lot simpler. Mm-hmm. You know, crew of. I mean, at one point we had no crew, but then when we started to get, you know, a couple guys helping us with guitars and drums, etc., you know, a crew of about 3 people helping us. I think the thing that I miss the most, and that we could go back to if I could have it, but it's totally unreasonable, is the simplicity of the day. You know, yeah. It's very, very, you know, in a thing like this where you're, you know, all kinds of trucks and buses and staff and crew everywhere. It's just complicated, you know. Yeah. And we luckily don't have to do the logistics and all that stuff, but we are cognizant of everything that is going on and how things move around and what everybody's job is. But yeah, those days were a lot simpler. It was about, you know, lunch.
A bunch of you just pile in the van and away you go, and
try to get to the next gig without crashing the vehicle.
Breaking down in the middle of nowhere.
Did a lot of that. Did a lot of that.
One of our other bands, Medina Lake, recently toured in Canada in the dead of winter, and the emails that we got from them. So
you can die out there.
Yeah.
You really, literally can die.
Really cold.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that anymore. So when things finally did blow up for you guys on Silver Side Up, can you sum up how that felt and the point where you were kind of like, shit, this is going somewhere, we've made it?
It was funny because our record debuted at number 2, which was way better than any of us expected in America, and we had a number 1 single on the radio in America and Canada. And we were still just as broke and had no idea where we were as we were the day before. And it took a long time for things to actually physically change, because, you know, you see it on TV, you hear about it on the radio, you read about it, how things go, you know, things are going great, but you're still homeless and broke. Mm-hmm. It's very unusual. I gotta say, that was one of the weirder times in this band, when you're an international success, whatever the hell that means, but you still have no proof. You know, you got no.
The perception is really different to the reality.
Yeah, it is, and it was really funny because we were still, you know, having trouble paying for our hotel rooms and stuff on tour. And,
wow.
You know, yet number 1 single. You know, funny.
So you play London tonight, and then you're going into mainland Europe, like you were saying earlier, just going to hit some of those places that you didn't hit last time you were in Europe. Mm-hmm. And then from there, the big plan is more touring and then new album.
Broadly, yes. You know, I can safely say that we're going to tour more and then make an album. I just don't know what kind of timeline that's going to be and when it's going to happen. And, you know, things change awful fast. You know, another leg of touring could get added on with, you know, very little notice, and it might just happen. We'll see.
So when you guys are writing, do you ever sort of do stuff on the road, or are you one of those bands that kind of you will sort of...
We have done it on the road in the past, but it hasn't been going that way this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we've kind of been focused on you know, keeping the tour going right and having more our eye on the ball of making all the shows great, and then we'll worry about the next record later. I think we're going to take a pretty lengthy break, I hope, this time. You know, we always say that, but we never do it. But you know, it wouldn't be bad to kind of close up shop for a little while. You know, that'd be cool.
So if you had a message for your UK fans, what would it be? Camera is yours.
Message for the UK fans would be, see you tonight, and see you soon, and hopefully you'll all be around for the long haul. We'll be back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.